For a driver to be fast, he needs to be comfortable in the cockpit, and that means taking care of all the details of everything that he touches in this environment. Now, all teams have a chassis mock-up, which they put the driver in for his seat fittings and all those kind of things. And at McLaren, Scott Bain is in charge of everything a driver touches.
This is the mock-up that we use to basically lay out the car and to fit the drivers in prior to the first chassis actually being manufactured. We effectively replicate the whole chassis, get the drivers in, and we can do a cockpit layout and a cockpit fitting. So when you hear the drivers, I'm going in for a seat fit, this is what they actually come and have the seat fit in. The chances are chassis is not ready for them at that point. We can make changes very, very quickly, and it's very modular on this. Whereas once we've actually committed to the chassis, there's a lot of things that are fixed and become very difficult to actually modify at that point.
How important is it in terms of getting maximum performance out of a driver that they're 100% comfortable?
Well, if they're not comfortable, they're not going to be able to give 100% because they're going to be concentrating on other things. If their elbows are hitting something, if their back's sore, if they're not in a position, if they're getting too hot or whatever, they can't commit 100% to actually what they're doing on the circuit. So you need to get their feedback right at the very beginning. As a design evolves, obviously you want a driver to be in a certain position, but a driver will always give the feedback, well, that's actually uncomfortable to do. They'll try to, ideally they want to get themselves as low as possible so they're not impacting on the rest of the car, but you need to do it safely, keep them packaged well, and take their feedback and their criticisms right at the very beginning and make that work.
And you're in charge of everything that the driver comes into contact with. So what does that encompass?
Basically, from the back of the seat back down to the pedal base. So that's seats, everything he's going to touch, steering wheels, down through the columns into the pedal area, any of the padding or anything like that needs to go into that point, into the headrests, and then from that point on it actually goes into now the clothing, the suits, the undergarment, the boots, the helmets, the whole package really. It's now been just brought together and we just kind of develop the whole thing with the drivers.